Welcome back to the deep dive. You know the drill by now. We take that just massive pile of game film, box scores, all the reports, and we boil it all down to the insights that really truly matter. And today we are not just looking at a championship game. We're really preparing for a finals matchup that feels like a clash of fundamental basketball physics.
It really does.
On one side, you have this seemingly flawless, undefeated 6-0 Raptors 2.0 machine, and on the other, the surging, dominant, and frankly defensively terrifying 5-1 college team.
And this isn't just about who wins the trophy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is about which philosophy of basketball is going to reign supreme here.
Exactly.
Our mission today really is to tear apart the box scores from their most recent, most dominant wins. That, that 100-point explosion for the Raptors and the stifling 48-point limit set by college to understand the absolute fundamental differences in how they operate.
Right.
We need to figure out the precise keys to victory for each side in this showdown. It's going to be high stakes.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, when you look at the macro view, you see the Raptors who have achieved this perfection at 6-0, and they're just blowing every opponent out of the water with sheer firepower, overwhelming size, pace. They are just relentless.
Relentless is the word.
Then you have College, who just delivered an absolute hammer blow in their semifinal, that 76-48 victory over Mamba. It was a loud, clear statement that they're built on efficiency and just defensive suffocation.
It's the ultimate contrast. It's the highest volume, highest pace offense versus surgical execution and defensive chaos. The stakes are astronomical, and that contrast is just delicious for an analyst.
It is.
But before we dive into the current dominance, we have to address the one piece of, let's call it historical noise that we have.
Yeah, the one previous matchup.
The only one. The Raptors did win that game, 82-67. However, and this is a huge however effect, the source material gives us a necessary caveat that basically renders that score useless.
Practically useless, yeah.
College was missing key players in that contest.
And that nuance is absolutely crucial. We have to stress this for you, the listener. That 82-67 score is noise. Don't look at it.
Throw it out.
It tells us nothing about how this full-strength, defensively charged college team, featuring the kind of depth we saw in their last game, matches up against the Raptors' size and volume. This finals matchup is a completely fresh test.
It's a true test of strength. It's two titans, both operating at peak capacity, ready to battle for the ultimate prize, and they're unburdened by any past, compromised results.
Exactly.
So we are looking at a true, definitive final. And to analyze it, we have to first understand the complete, unadulterated blueprint of each team. Let's start with the undefeated squad, the Raptors, and their incredibly aggressive, high-volume approach to winning.
Okay, let's unpack this. We have to focus on their recent 100-79 statement win over the Jazz. I mean, looking at those numbers, 100 points, winning by 21, it just screams one thing to me: aggression, overwhelming size, and volume. This team doesn't just look for opportunities. They generate them through sheer force of will and, just consistent shooting.
And while the overall shooting percentage of 47%, 38 for 81. It's certainly solid, it's good, but it doesn't tell the whole story.
Not at all.
The true definition of the Raptors' strength lies in the mathematics of their perimeter game. They are fundamentally built on the three-point barrage. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy that, so far, they have mastered.
And when you say high volume, you mean high volume.
Oh, yeah.
They drilled 16 three-pointers on 44 attempts. 44 attempts from beyond the arc. I mean, when you look at modern basketball, that is an extreme commitment.
It's their identity. They treat the three-point line like college treats the fast break.
Yeah.
It's a primary source of offense, a non-negotiable part of their possession structure.
And it's a fascinating strategic commitment, isn't it? If you shoot 44 threes, even if you're only hitting, 35%, which is exactly what 16 of 44 is, you are putting immense pressure on the opponent's defensive rotation just through the sheer quantity of it. It doesn't matter how well you defend the paint if you are constantly chasing shooters all over the perimeter.
The defense is going to break down somewhere. It's a mathematical certainty.
And that volume strategy is made sustainable by the kind of individual brilliance that really borders on the unstoppable. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Let's talk about him.
Gideon Incarnation's eruption against the Jazz. He went off for 25 points, and what's absolutely staggering is how he did it. 8 of his made shots were from beyond the arc. He shot 8 for 16 from three-point land.
That's the number.
Yeah.
50% efficiency on that kind of volume is what elevates the Raptors from just, an aggressive team to a truly unstoppable force.
Absolutely.
Think about the geometry of the court. Incarnation is shooting half of his shots from three, but he's converting them at a rate you normally see from mid-range jumpers. When he hits that mark, the Raptors are nearly impossible to guard because the floor is just spaced so wide.
He is the engine. He drives that entire high-volume attack. And I want to focus on the psychological impact of that for a second.
Yeah.
If you are the opposing coach, you're looking at Incarnation, and you know you have to allocate massive defensive resources to him on the perimeter. But if he's going 8 for 16, even your best defensive effort, it isn't slowing him down.
And that kind of performance, it's the necessary condition for their whole strategy to succeed. Because if Incarnation is cold, let's say he goes 2 for 16.
Oh, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
The Raptors have just launched 44 threes at a terrible clip, and they're in deep, deep trouble because they've wasted all those possessions. But when he is hot, like he was against the Jazz, that volume just overwhelms the opponent because every other player gets an easier look.
And the beauty of this system is the depth it creates. It's not just Incarnation drawing all the attention. You have Pat Hidalgo chipping in 18 points, including a critical 4 for 9 performance from deep.
And that 4 for 9 is vital. It's absolutely vital. It shows that if you commit 2 defenders to Incarnation, you try to trap him, Hidalgo is right there, ready to punish you.
Right.
So when you have 2 guys combining for 12 made threes on respectable efficiency, the opponent's perimeter defense is already stretched to its absolute breaking point. This isn't a one-man show, it's a systemic attack.
A systemic attack on the defensive line. I like that. And this relentless perimeter assault, it leads us directly to the second critical pillar of their blueprint.
The bigs.
The bigs. Rebounding control and second chances. This is where their sheer size truly translates into physical, measurable dominance.
Absolutely. They out-rebounded the Jazz 50-39. And this isn't just a marginal difference. That's an 11 rebound advantage. Like you said, it's not just winning the glass, it's controlling the glass.
Possession is power, especially when your strategy involves high-risk shots like threes.
And we have to dedicate some serious time to Brian Gonzalez.
We have to.
He boasted a monster double-double, 19 points, hauled in 17 total rebounds. But the single most important number in that entire box score for the Raptors is his 8 offensive rebounds.
8.
8.
Let's analyze the strategic implication of that. 8 offensive rebounds. In the Raptor system, a typical possession is a 3-point launch. So if they miss, where does that ball go?
It goes long. Often it bounces long right into the big man's territory. And Gonzalez is consistently beating his man to the spot, maximizing that long rebound opportunity that high-volume three-point shooting naturally generates.
So that 8 ORB stat means Gonzalez single-handedly created 8 new scoring possessions for them. It completely negates the inefficiency of missing 28 threes. If they miss 28 threes but Gonzalez gets 8 of them back, their effective shooting percentage on those initial possessions just skyrockets.
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating for defense. They are not just getting second chances, they are maximizing the probability of second chances because of his interior force. The cycle is perimeter shot, Gonzalez cleans it up, forces a scramble, and the ball kicks out for an easier look, or he gets an immediate foul call.
College is going to need a specific discipline strategy just to box him out, just to survive that initial shot.
And D.Will complements that force perfectly. I mean, he wasn't just grabbing boards. He anchored the glass with 17 total rebounds himself, 4 of those offensive.
Yeah.
But he also provided the crucial playmaking, 6 assists.
Which is essential.
It's essential. The rebounding dominance is immediately linked to transition offense and clean looks.
Yep.
They don't just secure the ball. D.Will ensures they immediately flow into the next structured offensive action, and that maintains that relentless pace.
It's tireless. That is the definitive word for the Raptors' attack. Tireless. They maximize possessions through sheer force. Between Gonzalez and D.Will, that's 34 rebounds and 12 offensive rebounds.
The Jazz weren't just beaten. They were physically drowned by it. Just the sheer number of possessions the Raptors generated was too much.
And this high-pace, high-volume model is sustained by their depth. We can't overlook the bench.
Can't forget the bench.
Jordan Tapala's impact, dropping 13 points on an incredibly efficient 6 for 9 from the field. That confirms the Raptors don't slow down when the starters rest. They have crucial scoring and energy ready to go.
They maintain that exhausting pace. Now, let's briefly look at what the Raptors exploited in the Jazz, just to understand what happens when their system works perfectly.
Right, the context.
The Jazz struggled. They struggled severely from deep, shooting just 26% from 3. And critically, they had terrible ball movement. They only totaled 5 assists for the entire team.
5 assists. As a team, That context is absolutely vital for this finals analysis.
It is.
The Raptors thrive when opponents struggle to execute clean, structured offensive sets. The Jazz's combination of poor three-point shooting and, basically non-existent ball movement meant they offered no resistance.
None. And it allowed the Raptors to just focus entirely on their own offense and rebounding. The Jazz couldn't punish them at all.
So, in essence, the Jazz played right into the Raptors' hands. They settled for contested, isolated shots, which led to easy defensive rebounds for Gonzalez and D.Will, which then immediately fueled the Raptors' fast break.
Which then leads to those wide-open incarnation threes. It's a cycle.
It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. They won a statement game, but college is a completely different animal.
A completely different animal.
College is built on the philosophy of precision and prevention. Where the Raptors are fire, college is the cold, calculated countermeasure. We saw that perfectly in their 76-48 blowout win over Mamba.
Precisely. Let's make that transition, because
Yeah.
if the Raptors are this aggressive, volume-chasing, fire-breathing machine, then college is the cold, calculating assassin. Their approach is defined by surgical efficiency and defensive havoc. The contrast could not be clearer.
Not at all. If the Raptors' primary value is volume, college's primary value is shot quality and defensive execution.
And when you look at that score, 76 points is solid. It's not spectacular, but it's solid.
Yeah.
But holding Mamba to 48 points, that is a definitive statement of defensive intent.
To hold any team in modern basketball to 48 points means you have completely, utterly choked their offense out.
You've suffocated them. And their offense, while it was lower volume, was incredibly efficient. They shot exactly 50% from the field, 30 successful shots on 60 attempts.
For an analyst, this 50% is a measure of extreme shot quality and surgical execution. This is fundamentally different from the Raptors model.
Night and day.
The Raptors can live with a lower conversion rate because they generate second chances. College prefers to minimize possessions and maximize the conversion rate. They value one sure basket over two highly risky ones.
And the poster child for this surgical approach is John Genius. We have to do a deep dive into his performance here. 24 points on a remarkably efficient 9 for 10 shooting from the field.
9. How to point 10. 90% field goal efficiency. That is not only insane for a primary scorer, it indicates that the shots he's taking are not merely high percentage. They are virtually uncontested.
Right, or they're generated by a perfect defensive mismatch that they've exploited.
Exactly. I mean, 90% efficiency. That level of precision is the single most crucial difference maker when you compare the two teams' offensive styles. Genius is punishing the opponent with precision, whereas Incarnation is punishing them with volume and just rapid-fire attempts.
And when you have a player like Genius, who is essentially guaranteeing a basket almost every time he shoots, it puts an enormous strain on the opponent's defense. It means college's possessions are optimized. They are not wasting opportunities.
And that hyper-efficient scoring is going to be absolutely essential when they face the Raptors' massive interior size, which, typically just swallows up inefficient drives.
But that efficiency isn't generated in isolation, right? It's created by incredible team playmaking. Look at their assist total. 21 assists on 30 made baskets.
70%.
70% of their successful shots came directly off an assist.
That stat right there is the most telling indication of college's entire philosophy. A 70% assisted rate means this is not individual hero ball. This is an orchestrated flowing attack designed to tire the defense by forcing continuous rotations until the optimal shot is found.
It's a team-first, fluid, structured offense. And that fluid ball movement is orchestrated by several players. Armin Brown led with a team-high 5 assists. Ivan Tiki had 2, but the distribution is widespread.
So the defense can't key in on just one playmaker. They can't trap one guy because the ball is constantly moving. And that is why a player like Genius ends up with a 90% conversion rate. The ball movement creates the perfect look.
And that ability to distribute the wealth means that when they face the Raptors' massive interior defenders like Gonzalez and D.Will, they won't settle for contested shots early in the clock.
No, they'll be patient. They will patiently work the ball until they either get a high percentage 2 off a cut or an open 3 generated by a defensive collapse. Their patience is the direct counter to the Raptors' pace.
Okay, now let's talk about the side of the court where college truly lays its foundation.
Defensive dominance.
Absolutely. The statistics that illustrate their defensive chaos are truly staggering. They forced 17 turnovers, tallied 13 steals, and blocked 4 shots. That is a masterclass in active, disruptive, and calculated defense.
This is the key strategic variable for the finals, bar none. The Raptors thrive on pace and volume, which relies entirely on clean possessions and fast outlets. College is fundamentally built to prevent clean possessions.
Right.
Forcing 17 turnovers, which is nearly 30% of Mamba's possessions, means they're creating fast break opportunities while simultaneously neutralizing the opponent's structured offense.
Every steal, every forced turnover is a chance for College to run, get an easy basket, and prevent the Raptors from setting up that massive rebounding formation.
And Robert Sarmiento perfectly embodies this necessary two-way approach. He had a modest 8 points. His defensive stat line is where the story is. 3 blocks, 2 steals, and he also dished 4 assists.
Sarmiento is the definition of a versatile two-way spark plug. He's not just a defensive anchor clogging the lane, he's a disruptive force who takes those defensive actions, the blocks and the steals, and immediately turns them into transition assists or scoring opportunities.
That versatility is crucial because he can defend a big, he can pressure the perimeter, and he can initiate the break.
His ability to switch assignments and immediately turn defense into offense is essential against a team like the Raptors.
Right, because the Raptors are huge, but they are not the fastest team up and down the court in transition defense.
Right.
If College can generate 15-plus points directly off turnovers, that instantly negates the 8 offensive rebounds Gonzalez might get.
And it's not just him. We also have Jeffrey Tiki contributing 3 steals, Chuck Camarania adding 3 steals off the bench. Again, this highlights the depth in College's system. It's not one-star defender taking risks. It's a deep, collective commitment to pressuring the ball handler everywhere.
The intensity never drops. Now, the Mamba context is necessary here. Mamba shot a terrible 36% overall, 22% from deep, and committed those 17 turnovers. College's defense absolutely neutralized them. They suffocated Mamba.
The question is, can they apply that same pressure to a much larger, higher volume team like the Raptors who have that offensive rebounding safety net?
And that transition brings us perfectly to the finals matchup. We've established 2 incredibly successful but diametrically opposed strategies. It's time for the direct synthesis, because this is where the prep for the championship truly begins.
So if we summarize the styles, the Raptors are the volume shooting team, absolutely reliant on perimeter output and that overwhelming rebounding advantage. They want chaos, pace, lots of shots.
Right, and College is the high-efficiency team, built on fluid ball movement to generate the best possible shot, and a suffocating defense designed to force turnovers and create their own kind of chaos. Controlled chaos.
They want precision, patience, controlled possessions. So the question looming over this entire final series is this. Can the Raptors' sheer size and rebounding dominance overcome College's defensive pressure and calculated surgical shot making?
This is fundamentally a battle for tempo and possession quality. Whoever controls the flow wins the series.
It's that simple.
If the game is played at the Raptors' preferred breakneck pace, with multiple second chances and 40-plus three-point attempts, the Raptors win, easily. Their system maximizes shots.
But if College can successfully slow the game, make it a half-court grind, and force 15-plus turnovers,
then College wins because their efficiency will punish the Raptors' misses.
that leads us right into the blueprints for victory. Let's start with what the Raptors absolutely must do to maintain their perfect record against a team that is specifically designed to dismantle what they do best.
Number 1 is critical. Perimeter purity. The Raptors have to maintain high three-point efficiency. We are talking about replicating, or at least approaching, Incarnation's 8 for 16 performance.
And they're going up against a much, much better defense than the Jazz. A defense that specializes in getting hands in passing lanes and challenging every single shot.
So if their volume shots don't fall, if they regress to, say, 12 for 44, they lose their entire identity. They lose their fundamental edge.
Yeah, College is too efficient to let them waste possessions like that. The Raptors don't just need 44 attempts, they need 14-plus made threes just to keep pace with College's superior overall field goal percentage.
And this is where the defensive assignments on Incarnation become the defining factor. If College successfully forces him into lower efficiency, say, 5 for 16, the Raptors lose their offensive motor, and the entire high-volume strategy just collapses.
Okay, so their second key has to be their safety net.
Second chance points.
Right. The rebounding dominance, led by Gonzalez and B.A.L.L, must translate into crucial, reliable second chance points. This is their insurance policy.
It has to be. College will force contested initial shots. Therefore, Gonzalez's interior force must happen again. Those 8 offensive rebounds have to be replicated to negate College's higher FG efficiency.
Every offensive board is a chance to reset the shot clock and find a better look. An absolute necessity against College's stifling defense.
And this means College can't afford to get lazy after a shot goes up. They have to dedicate players to boxing out Gonzalez and D.Will on every single perimeter shot, even if it costs them a transition opportunity.
And finally, for the Raptors, they have to rely on their depth, specifically that bench scoring.
Yeah, Jordan Tapala and Ajak, they need to replicate their offensive output to sustain that pressure throughout the game. If the Raptors' bench drops off, if that pace and volume diminish for even 5 minutes, College's defensive energy will just chew up that difference.
Tapala's 6 for 9 shooting off the bench has to be consistent to relieve pressure on the starters.
No question.
Absolutely. Okay, let's pivot to College. Their blueprint seems simpler in concept efficiency and defense, but it is far more challenging to execute against a team with the Raptors' sheer size.
Key number one for College is definitive. Containment on the perimeter. They have to prioritize shutting down the Raptors' main threat. Allowing 16 made threes is a death sentence.
College has to be so disciplined. They have the defensive personnel, Sarmiento, Tiki, Kamiya, but they need to switch effectively, fight through every screen, and just make Encarnación and Hidalgo uncomfortable every single time they touch the ball.
Success there neutralizes the Raptors' primary engine. It forces them to play a slow, half-court game where College's efficiency can really shine.
But this will test their rotational defense to its absolute limit. They need to close out without fouling and then immediately drop down to prevent Gonzalez from getting those boards.
It's a dual mandate. Challenge the shot, secure the rebound. It's so tough to do consistently.
Okay, key number 2 is their offensive catalyst, forcing turnovers.
Right. They have to generate fast break opportunities by pressuring the ball, just like the 17 turnovers they forced against Mamba. These transition baskets are essential because they prevent the Raptors from setting up their enormous half-court rebounding advantage.
Their defense must directly create their offense. They cannot afford to try and match the Raptors point for point in the half court.
No, because the Raptors will get too many second chances. Steals, deflections, blocks, Sarmiento's specialty have to lead to easy transition baskets. If they can get 20 points off turnovers, they win this game.
And finally, John Genius.
He has to continue his hyper-efficient scoring. His 9 for 10 performance shows he can punish a defense with clinical precision. Against the Raptors, he needs to use that efficiency to draw the attention of their big interior defenders.
Pull Gonzalez and D.Will away from the basket.
Exactly. Punish them when they commit too heavily to the perimeter shooters. If he can maintain a high conversion rate, he minimizes the possessions where the Raptors can pull ahead with their volume. He slows the pace and forces the Raptors to earn every single basket.
So let's circle back one last time to that 82-67 historical score. We know College was missing key players. We know they now possess a defense capable of the incredible pressure we saw against Mamba.
That previous result is entirely irrelevant now.
Completely.
The finals hinges entirely on who dictates the terms of engagement. Is it going to be the Raptors' overwhelming pace, size, and sheer volume? Or is it going to be College's calculated, disruptive defense and hyper-efficient, surgical offense? That is the ultimate tension here.
It truly is compelling. You have the volume-scoring, rebounding giants, the Raptors, facing the efficient, turnover-forcing tacticians in College. Two titans, built on completely different foundations, meeting for the ultimate showdown.
And what stands out to me is how often these kinds of high-profile matchups are decided not by the primary stars, who often, they neutralize each other.
Right, they cancel each other out.
But by the performance of the secondary two-way players who execute the strategic mandate perfectly.
It makes you wonder, if College focuses entirely on shutting down Encarnación and the Raptors manage to control Genius, who is left to break the stalemate.
And that brings us to our final provocative thought for you to chew on as you wait for this incredible finals matchup. Will the outcome be decided by a star player, like Encarnación winning the volume war or Genius winning the efficiency battle? Or will it be determined by the critical, consistent two-way contribution of a secondary player who executes the tactical plan flawlessly?
Think about Robert Sarmiento and his disruptive game. The 3 blocks, 2 steals, 4 assists. He provides defense and instant offense for College. Can he generate enough chaos to break the Raptors' rhythm?
Or consider Jordan Tapala dropping 13 efficient points off the Raptors' bench. If College spends all their energy stopping Encarnación, can Tapala hit those timely threes that sustain the Raptors' volume advantage?
Those secondary factors. That's the margin for error.
And in a finals this evenly matched, they often decide the championship.
That's the factor worth mulling over. The margin for error is razor thin. It's the battle of the supporting cast that may ultimately lift the trophy. Tune in next time. We'll be here to break down the result.